I said, what are we going to do this week? And they would pick out things to do. They said, let's go to the Children's Museum. I said, what is that? And they said, it's a place where smaller children just can play, pretend, and build things, and visit things in the community and everything. And I said, well, are you older girls going to be bored there? And they said, it's okay, we'll watch the younger kids play. And so they had a lot of fun watching the young ones. And ever since then, I've been coming over here at every occasion.
Completely honest, when I first came to the museum, when I was asked to come here, I did not know anything about it, and I really just thought that it was a place to come for kids to play. And since then, I've learned that it's so much more. It's an opportunity for kids to grow and to develop and really learn a lot of life skills here.
It's gonna be the bathroom. That's the bathroom. I need to find the plate.
So this just kind of felt like a home away from home, where I didn't have to clean up. They could do art and play with glue and crayons and markers and glitter and make a mess and just explore their creativity.
What happens is you get here and you say, oh, some kids will gravitate to one part and just stay there all day because that's their passion. They have a passion. And there are other kids that want to see it all and experience it all and do a little bit of everything.
It's always how it goes.
Does the baby sound okay? Oh my goodness.
The Greensboro Children's Museum is celebrating 20 years. That's 20 years of kids playing, exploring, growing, interacting, communicating, but most of all, making memories.
The idea of charitable giving, when my mother would raise money, people used to say, will you give till it hurts? My mother always said, you give till it feels good. You give till you feel you've made a difference in someone's life. And I know my pop did that here, and it just makes me really proud. My brother and sister and I were raised with the idea, don't just complain, suggest a better way. And my blessed mother helped start Head Start in Greensboro, worked with Women's Resource Center. She was real active. She was president of Elliott Hall when she was at WC, which is UNCG. And I'd heard 100 times of my mother saying, this is terrible, someone should do something about it. And she did. So my brother and sister and I got it from both ends, that we were raised by parents that saw possibilities and just, again, saw the responsibility to make the world a better place, to repair the world. In the Jewish faith, the idea of charity, the Hebrew word is called tzedakah. You may have heard that before. And some people describe it as charity, but it really translates to responsibility, to obligation. So it's your obligation to make the world a better place. And when I look around at this magnificent museum, I know Pop did.
This is the story of one man's dream to build the Children's Museum here in downtown Greensboro. Jerry Hyman was born here in Greensboro New Year's Day, 1924. He grew up on Walker Avenue and later moved to Hobbs Road to raise 3 children. And it was there that he tried to create the best possible childhood for them.
Tell you about my dad, like my favorite topic to talk about. And he loved Greensboro, he loved being here, he was very proud. He had an immigrant father. My grandfather, Aaron, came over from Lithuania and basically had nothing. Ended up with a shoe repair store and a furniture store on South Elm Street. And Dad was very partial to downtown and loved it. Very involved in kids with my older brother, younger sister. Particularly, was a scoutmaster of our Boy Scout troop.
Through his abilities as a home builder, he built life-size props for his kids to play on.
And he built a little airplane in our front yard, in the woods in front of our yard, a little airplane for us to sit in and play. It was off the ground. He built a life-size dollhouse for my sister, for her and her friends to play in.
It was perhaps here that we could notice the early spark of a children's museum.
And in 1987, my brother and dad had been at Southeast Asia for a trip, and they had a long layover in San Francisco. And they went to the Exploratorium in San Francisco, and my dad's world changed, because as he looked around and saw the kids of all colors and sizes and shapes playing, he said, we have to have this for downtown Greensboro. Now, in 2019, that sounds like that's a reasonable ask, but back in the day, back in 1987, downtown Greensboro was nothing to talk about. And there was very little development in restaurants, and there were no young people coming downtown. And no families would come downtown because there was nothing to do.